Good morning and welcome to this edition of DMS 3000 News Live. It's episode 46 on this Monday, August 21st, 2023. I'm your host, Jason DeCanio. Hoping you are having a fantastic day this morning and hope you had a fantastic weekend as well. I'm a little late getting here. Sorry about that, but it happens. So give or take a few things and we'll get it right, But anyways, hoping that you are ready to start off another fantastic week with us here at the David 3000 Network. And we're ready to go because we have lots of good stuff to cover today. And as you know, of course, I am Jason DeCanio, your host and moderator of this fantastic program. Today on the show, we're looking at the 64th anniversary of Hawaii becoming the 50th state. Yes, folks, this back in 1959, Hawaii finally joined the Union and became our 50th state. And we are proud to have Hawaii. As of right now, as you know, the people of Maui are recovering from a tragedy that happened over about a week ago. And we are keeping them in our thoughts and our prayers as they make a long recovery to the island. So we'll talk about that a little bit later as well, first thing. And we also have the 117th birthday of cartoonist Friz Freleng. You know Friz Freleng, Bugs Bunny, and all of the characters. He is the cartoonist. He's the one who drew the cartoon, actually. So Friz Freleng, Mel Blanc, all those guys from Warner Brothers, they go back a long time, and they died, so early in the time that we grew up with them. But now they're in their place of historic comfortness. And today is Friz Freleng's 117th birthday. Happy birthday, Friz. We'll talk about your fantastic life a little later on in the program. Our commentary today is about the art of friendship. I think it's fitting for a day that we have that, because we need all the people and support that we can get in our lives. And it doesn't matter how many friends you have, it's about the friendship you have with them. Okay? So you can have one great friend in your entire life. It's how you make that friendship last, and it's how you continue the art that is friendship in its own right. Friendship is an art, folks. It's an art form that is to be used very carefully in our lives to make friends, but it also, used the wrong way, can also break up a terrific friendship of what we had for lasting years with people we've known and circumstances that were beyond our control that unfortunately broke the friendship up. So we'll talk about the commentary about the art of friendship. We also got news of the weird today. What day is today? Plus the headlines, sports, and other important information. And toward the end of the program, we also have the editorial. So let's go ahead and get ready now for the headlines, sports, and other important information for today, Monday, August 21st, 2023. And I want to give a shout out to my cousin, Melissa LeBron. Happy birthday, cuz. You deserve it today. Let's look at the headlines. Tropical storm Hillary drenched Southern California, leaving millions of people at risk of flooding and thousands without power. And we go down and we look here. Massive mental health toll in Maui wildfires. They've lost everything. Officials in Hawaii are scrambling to support the enormous and growing mental health needs of Maui residents traumatized by the deadliest wildfire in modern history. The Republican primary race is in full swing. NPR wants your election questions. The first Republican presidential primary debate is this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Let us know what you want to know as the candidates take the stage. Guatemala's anti-corruption candidate wins presidency in a landslide vote. Outsider Bernardo Arevalo wins the runoff in a vote that was a critical test of the Central American country's democratic credentials. And Ecuador's presidential election moves toward a runoff vote in October. No candidate in Sunday's special presidential election received enough support to be declared the winner, and the vote took place amid thousands of police officers and soldiers deployed across the country. Withdrawn David and Kansas newspaper raid shows police ignored open record laws. Documents used to justify a search of the Marion County record show police knew a reporter was verifying the authenticity of a local business owner's driving record by searching one of the state's public websites, which the paper's attorney said is legal. Anime can invite you into worlds you didn't know before. It does for me. Cartoons like My Neighbor Totoro and Dragon Ball Z introduced me to anime and started an ongoing love for the art form, and stories that explore what it means to be human. A Netflix extra DVD offer ahead of service shutdown confuses some customers. Fans of the streamer's 25-year-old hard copy delivery service are welcoming the promotion ahead of its shutdown at the end of September, but the terms are vague. Spain outlasts England 1-0 to win its first Women's World Cup title. Spain's victory over England came less than a year after a near mutiny by its players last year. Its win made it the first European team to win the Women's World Cup since Germany in 2007. The Russian Space Agency says its Luna 25 spacecraft has crashed into the moon, while Russia's unmanned robot lander crashed after it had spun into uncontrolled orbit, the country's space agency Roscosmos reported. Oh. And why are the Republican candidates meeting in Milwaukee? No, it's not for the beer. Milwaukee has often had visits from presidents of both parties who find it a convenient point of contact with voters proud to be part of either the middle class or the working class. Trump tests the tolerance of judges and even his own lawyers. Former President Donald Trump's rhetoric could be setting him up for an ugly clash with judges overseeing the criminal cases against him. A mother raced to save her son from the Maui fires. She couldn't reach him. When everyone was trying to escape the flames in Lahaina, Luz Vargas ran toward them. Her son was home alone. Days later, she found his body. Sunday would have been his 15th birthday. New Jersey requires climate change education a year in, and here's how it's going. In 2020, New Jersey became the first state in the country to require climate change education across grade levels and in most subjects. The standards were rolled out this past year. Corporate diversity initiatives are facing cutbacks and legal attacks. Corporate diversity, equality, or equity, and inclusion positions soared after the murder of George Floyd in 2020. Now, due to economic pressure and political pressure from the right, they face an uncertain future. And finally, pickleball, the fastest growing sport in the country, is moving indoors. And as the sport grows, so does demand for places to play. Indoor courts are popping up all over, from former warehouses to empty stores and even shopping malls. And there you have it, friends. You have the headlines for today, August 21st, 2023. Let's go now to MLB.com. And right now, we're going to be looking at some of the baseball stories. There was a lot of action going on yesterday in baseball. As we're winding down the final weekends of August and heading into crunch time in September, that's where everything happens. So let's take a look and see what's going on with any kind of headlines today. Let's see. The Little League Classic. Yeah, the Little League Classic's going on, folks. Don't see anything. Let's see. Setting down through. All right, so let's go right ahead and just take a look at the scores and standings like we always do. Usually the Dugout Crew is going to talk about a lot of good stuff this week coming up, so don't forget to check them out Thursdays at 3 o'clock. For Sunday baseball, was the Mariners upsetting the Astros 7-6. Mariners are really taking a chance in the AL West right now to really put some pressure on the Astros and the Rangers. They are on a winning streak right now, so they upset the defending champions 7-6, and puts Houston at 70 and 55, still behind the Rangers for the division lead. It was the Giants over the Braves, 4-3. Braves still now at 80 and 43, really putting a lot of pressure on the NL East, but they lose yesterday to the Giants 4-3. It was the Red Sox sweeping the Yankees, and they do it again in fashion. They beat them 6-5 yesterday, and they go to 66 and 58, leaving the Yankees in the cellar to rot like the New York team. Ugh. It was the Tigers over the Guardians 4-1. The Blue Jays beating up on the Reds 10-3. Twins upsetting the Pirates 2-0. It was the Cardinals finally winning a game against the Mets, but the Mets took 2 out of 3 in that series. But the Cardinals came back in fashion, put up a 7-spotter, and beat them 7-3. The Cubs over the Royals 4-3. It was the Brewers upsetting the Rangers 6-2. And that means the division now for the AL West is getting even tighter, folks. When we get to the standings, we'll look at them. White Sox over the Rockies 10-5. The Orioles trumped the Athletics, and I mean they trumped them 12-1. Yep. And the Nationals upset the Phillies 4-3. The Nationals now at 57 and 68, trying to get out of the bottom of the NL East. And that was the final game of the scores. Now let's look at the standings. These are the standings going into tonight's games. Right now, Baltimore at 77 and 47, 30 games over 500, folks. 3-game winning streak. Goes up against a series against Toronto starting tomorrow. Now, Tampa Bay, 75 and 51, 3 games back of the division, 5 games up on the wild card. They start a series with the Colorado Rockies tomorrow in Tampa Bay. So Baltimore and Tampa Bay are at home. Toronto, 69 and 56, 8.5 back, a half game back in the wild card on a 2-game winning streak, and they will visit Baltimore. Boston, 66 and 58, 3-game winning streak, 11 back, 3 games back in the wild card. They still got a chance. They start a 3-game series with the Houston Astros in Houston tonight. And the Yankees 60 and 64, now 17 games back, 9 back in the wild card, losers of 8 straight. Unbelievable. They open up a 3-game series against the Washington Nationals tomorrow night. In the AL Central, Minnesota 65 and 60, one streak of 1 win, and they will go up against the Milwaukee Brewers at Milwaukee starting tomorrow. Cleveland Guardians 59 and 66, 6 games back, 10.5 in the wild card, losers of 2. They'll open up a 3-game series versus the Dodgers in Cleveland tomorrow. Detroit 57, 67, 7.5 back, 12 back in the wild card, winners of 2. They open up a 3-game series against the Chicago Cubs tonight in Detroit. The White Sox 49 and 75, 15.5 back, 20 back in the wild card, winners of a 1-game winning streak. They open up a 3-game series against Seattle tonight in Chicago. And Kansas City 40 and 86. They've actually won 40 games, folks. Kansas City is looking to be an interesting spoiler. 25.5 back, 30 back in the wild card, losers of 2, but they open up against Oakland starting tonight at Oakland. Texas Rangers 72 and 52, 20 games over 500, losers of 4, though. They open up a 3-game series with the Arizona Diamondbacks at Arizona tonight. Houston 70 and 55, 2.5 back in the division, half a game up on the wild card. They've lost 3 straight. They open up a 3-game series with Boston in Houston starting tonight. Seattle 69-55, 3 games back in the division. Who would have thought? Seattle. They are not any games back in the wild card. So they are only a half game out of the wild card with Houston. Winners of 6 right now. And they open up a 3-game series against the Chicago White Sox in Chicago. The LA Angels 61-64, 11.5 back, 8.5 back in the wild card. They got a losing streak of 1, but they start a 3-game series tonight versus the Cincinnati Reds in LA. And the Oakland Athletics 34-90, 38 games back, 35 back in the wild card. Losers of 3 straight. They start a 3-game series with the Royals tonight. So it's a battle of the cellar dwellers. Who will prevail? We'll see what happens. NL East, Atlanta Braves, 80-43. They lost 1, but they start a 3-game series in Atlanta tonight against those lowly Mets. That's right. And Philadelphia, 67-57, 13.5 back, 2.5 on the wild card, up. And they start a 3-game series with the San Francisco Giants in Philly tonight. Miami, 64-61, 17 games back. 1 game back in the wild card. Losers of 2. They go up against the Padres starting tonight in San Diego. The Mets, 58-67, 23 games back, 7 games back in the wild card. Losers of 1. They visit the champions Atlanta Braves in Atlanta starting tonight. Washington, 57-68, 24 games back, 8 back in the wild card. They have a 1-game winning streak, and they'll open up the series against the Yankees in New York tomorrow, actually. So they'll start that series with them tomorrow. Milwaukee Brewers, 68-57, winners of 3. They start a 3-game series with the Minnesota Twins tomorrow night in Milwaukee. The Cubs, 64-59, 3 games back in the division, no games back in the wild card. They're tied with the leaders right now with San Francisco, getting close. So that's helping them. They're a half a game back of San Francisco for the lead in the wild card. They have a 2-game winning streak. They open up a series against the Detroit Tigers in Detroit tonight. The Reds, 64-61, 4 games back, 1 back in the wild card, losers of 2. They go with the LA Angels against LA tonight. Start that series in LA. Pittsburgh, 55-69, 12.5 back, 9.5 back in the wild card, losers of 1. They start a series with the Cardinals tonight in Pittsburgh. And speaking of the Cardinals, 55-70, 13 games back, 10 back. They have a 1-game winning streak. They start that series in Pittsburgh. The Dodgers, well, they are just showing who's boss here. 76-47, winners of 2. Start that series against the Cleveland Guardians at Cleveland tomorrow night. San Francisco, 65-59, 11.5 back, plus 5 on right now the Cubs in the wild card. Winners of 1, they go up against the Phillies starting tonight in Philadelphia. Arizona, 64-61, 13 back, 1 back in the wild card. Start a 3-game series against the Texas Rangers tonight in Arizona. San Diego, 59-66, 18 games back, 6 back in the wild card. They start the 3-game series with the Miami Marlins in San Diego. And Colorado, 48-76, losers of 1, 28.5 back, 16.5 back in the wild card. They start the 3-game series at Tampa Bay. And that is your standings and your scores for MLB.com right now. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be looking at News of the Weird right after this.
Fire!
It's not easy getting so much rich chocolate into a Three Musketeers bar. Fortunately, it's a lot easier to get all that incredible tasting chocolate out of it.
Come on along, I'll take you to the lullaby
ballyhoo.
The lullaby of Broadway.
And in the center of it all
Is the Milford Plaza.
Stay at the Milford Plaza Hotel with cocktail, dinner, and breakfast for $49.50 per person. Discover why we are the lullaby of Broadway.
The Milford Plaza is the lullaby of all Broadway.
MTA interviews 30 Mix, take one.
Take the train.
Why have over 1 million people taken the JFK Express?
Because it's faster than taking a taxi.
Because it's very fast, clean, and safe.
And that's the only way to fly.
It's safe.
Oh, I work for United Airlines, and it's quicker than the bus.
So we're taking the train to the plane to save money.
To spend in Paris.
Take the train to the plane.
You take the train to the plane.
The JFK Express, only $4, including shuttle bus. Call 858-7272.
Train to the plane.
I'm Murray Linder. On bagels, I'm an expert. People I'll never understand. I tell them a delicious Linder's bagel has more complex carbohydrates than a lot of cereals people call healthy. 20% more. Well, who wouldn't take a toasty, chewy Linder's bagel over what's in a cereal bowl? But some people still think bowl healthy. Look, if you still think good stuff has to come in a bowl, here you go. Linder's Bagels. Who knew they were this good?
New family members mean new responsibilities and new needs for life and health insurance protection. Why not drop in on your MetLife representative to help you figure out what's right for you and your family? Get Met. It pays.
Benny, the chicken. Throw him the chicken. The chicken, Benny. Please, Benny. The chicken. Throw him the chicken.
But it's Roy Rogers chicken.
It's chicken month at Roy's. And now get a 2-piece dinner, medium fries, a 15-ounce drink, just $2.99.
I hate machines. Sorry, Rosie.
Why don't we go to the new Sprint store at Radio Shack, George? They have Sprint's easy-to-use products.
And the know-how of Radio Shack.
They even showed Astro how to use his mobile phone.
They could even help you, Mr. J.
Astro has a mobile phone? Hello, Rhonda.
The new Sprint store at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Hello, I'm Joe DeCandia, the owner of Lenny's Columbine Restaurant. I would like to welcome you to Lenny's. We serve you the finest Italian seafood like calamari, baked clams, lobster tail served with shrimps, mussels, and linguine. Our delicious pasta dishes are a mouth-watering treat, and an Italian specialty are unforgettable. Visit one of Lenny's nearest you and enjoy a glass of wine in the house.
Well, I am not, unfortunately, Brandon Bogart, but I'll tell you one thing. We've got all of our intros mixed up here tonight. This is crazy. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. What is going on, folks? How are we doing? Welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live. I will get it right eventually. This is what happens when you mix up things like this. All right. Well, we have News of the Weird coming up right now. And I'm going to get this right, and I will play my intro eventually. I will get it. But right now, let's go ahead and look at News of the Weird. And, of course, the editors at Andrews McMeel Syndication for the week of August 18th, 2023. The lead story, Americans Abroad. Sigh. Security guards at the Eiffel Tower in Paris discovered 2 American tourists sleeping near the top of the structure on August 14th as they prepared to open to visitors, Yahoo News reported. Paris prosecutors said the 2 dodged security the night before and appear to have got stuck because of how drunk they were. Firefighters were dispatched to collect the men who were questioned by police. Eiffel Tower Management Company Sete said it would file a criminal complaint, although the pair didn't pose any apparent threat. In more news from Paris, an experienced climber got to the tie-up of the Eiffel Tower early on August 17th and parachuted off before guards could stop him, The Guardian reported. The unnamed man landed safely after the leap from about 1,100 feet and was promptly arrested for endangering the lives of others. This kind of irresponsible action puts people working at or near the tower in danger, scolded Sete, the tower's management company. Sure, Mountain Dew has been compared to battery acid, but one suspect thought a can of the stuff could save her from being fingered as a killer. Fox 35 TV reported that on August 5th, 35-year-old Nicole Max was charged with first-degree murder in the death of her 79-year-old roommate, Michael Sarasoli. Sarasoli was discovered beaten and stabbed in the home they shared in Daytona Beach, Florida, on July 1st. Officers tracked down Max around 3:30 in the morning at a Crystal's restaurant where she had blood on the side of her leg and part of her shirt had been torn or cut away. As they approached, she dropped a knife and hammer she had been carrying, and she told officers she often carried such items. Police said that as they questioned her about her roommate, and she became agitated and asked for a drink. They gave her a can of Diet Mountain Dew, which she poured over her body and hair, hoping to eliminate any evidence on her person. Unsurprisingly, that stunt didn't work, and her DNA was found on the knife used to kill Sarasoli. She currently resides at the Volusia County Jail. TikToker Michaela Witter was on day 20 of a series. She was posting about 100 solo dates, activities like reading in the park or buying herself flowers. And then on August 7th, as she browsed in Barnes & Noble in Burbank, California, Witter inadvertently captured a stalker on video as he followed her, kneeled behind her, and sniffed her and another woman repeatedly. Fox News reported that Witter's post unleashed a torrent of similar experiences, even with the same stalker. Bro, that same man was crouching behind me and following me through Marshall's today, one commenter posted. The same thing happened to me at Ralph's in Burbank, another said. One TikToker had the same experience in the same bookstore. Glendale police arrested Khalees Carrion Crowder, she's 37 years old, on August 11th, but a judge placed him on probation and released him on August 15th. Los Angeles County jail records show Crowder has been booked there 41 times. 32-year-old street performer Lino Tomasin of Havana, Cuba, retired from boxing after a blow delivered to his opponent fractured the man's skull and killed him instantly, he told Reuters. Tomasin gave all his fight winnings to that man's family and took to the streets, where the Iron Man now beats on himself and collects tips. He uses a sledgehammer to slam his wrists, elbows, and forearms for horrified onlookers, but seems to be unharmed by the abuse. It's all real, nothing fabricated, said Edward Carbonell, who watched Thomason's show. I want to be remembered as someone who pushed the limits of what was possible, Thomason said. Ha! There you have it. At a Sunset Fur Meet on August 12th in Huntington Beach, California, one furry took on offense when a man in street clothes started filming the spectacle on his phone, the Toronto Sun reported. Someone in a black wolf costume asked the filmer to stop, then amplified his message with a megaphone. Leave or we will make you leave. And when the filmer didn't budge, the wolf hit him over the head with the megaphone. Others jumped into the brawl, which was finally broken up by California state park officials. The California Public Utilities Commission voted in early August to allow Cruise and Waymo to offer paid driverless rides to customers during the day, the New York Times reported. And on August 15th, as 74-year-old Paul Harvey looked on, a Cruise vehicle in San Francisco drove into a city paving project and became stuck in wet concrete. I thought it was funny, Harvey said. It illustrated how creepy and weird the whole thing is to me. Rachel Gordon with the San Francisco Department of Public Works noted that no one was hurt, but added that portion of the road has to be repaved at Cruz's expense. Paul Leonardi, a professor of technology management at the University of California, Santa Barbara, chalked up the experience to a teaching moment. It needs to experience a diverse set of use cases so it can learn, and driving into wet concrete is one of those use cases. At Stoke Fruit Farm on Hayling Island in England, the sunflowers have been in full bloom for several weeks. The colorful fields offer a perfect background for photo shoots, but the BBC reported the farm has seen an increase of reports of naked photography taking place since July 28th. People are having fun and taking pictures for their Instagram, but we just ask that they keep their clothes on, said Sam Wilson, who runs the site. In an August 11th Facebook post, the attraction cautioned that this must not happen during our public sessions, please. One commenter said her son got a right eyeful after stumbling across a woman wearing just a thong. Should have seen his face. When the European Space Agency shared a composite photo taken by the James Webb Telescope in late July, highlighting two actively forming stars, another shape in the photo caught the attention of earthbound gazers. An orange formation in the shape of a question mark. Kai Noesik, ESA Communication Program Officer, explained to NPR what scientists think the shape is. A group or a chance alignment of 2 or 3 galaxies. The upper part of the question mark looks like a distorted spiral galaxy, maybe merging with a second galaxy. Galaxy mergers result in all kinds of beautiful shapes and structures, said Macarena Garcia Marin, a Webb Project scientist. Macarena, wow. They are a normal phase in the life and evolution of galaxies. And finally, an unnamed man called his dangerous stunt a joke after being arrested in Bothania, Finland, Sky News reported on August 9th. The man allegedly stored 26 pounds of dynamite in his friend's 2 cars before calling the owner and telling him. The owner wasn't laughing. He alerted police, who evacuated nearby buildings. In addition to the dynamite, detonators were also confiscated from the cars, said Tony Rauma, detective chief inspector with the Bothania police. The jokester told police he did not intend to blow up the cars, and links to terrorism have been rolled out. Send your weird news items with subject line Weird News to weirdnewstips@amuniversal.com. And those are news of the weird stories for the week of August 18th from the editors at Andrews McMeel Syndication at uexpress.com. Our time right now at the WJDC studios is 8:39. We're hoping you're having a fantastic Monday morning today on this August 21st, 2023. We'll look at what day is today later on, but we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll look at the 64th anniversary of Hawaii becoming the 50th state. More after this.
Harry is a scratcher who keeps getting scratched. Harry, you need the clear solution to a healthier scalp. Maximum Strength Scalpicin with vitamin E. Not a shampoo. Scalpicin works fast to stop unhealthy scratching that can cause scalp damage with the itch medicine dermatologists recommend. Ah, the all-day confidence of a healthy, itch-free scalp. Maximum Strength Scalpicin, the clear solution to a healthier scalp.
Sore throat pain. It's hard to work, hard to think. Now, end your sore throat emergency fast with extra strength Cepacol lozenges. Unlike ordinary drops, Cepacol numbs sore throat pain fast with its Menthocaine action. Menthocaine, 2 anesthetics to help you feel better fast. So effective, it's the #1 brand in hospitals.
The pain is gone.
Cepacol lozenges and maximum strength spray for relief on contact. Cepacol ends your sore throat emergency. Sore throat pain. It's hard to work, hard to think. No time for ordinary drops. End your sore throat emergency fast with the strongest Cepacol lozenges ever. Cepacol numbs sore throat pain fast with Menthocane action. Menthocane, 2 anesthetics for fast relief. So effective it's #1 in hospitals.
The pain is gone.
And try new Cepacol Dual Action Spray. Numbs pain on contact, coats your throat for comfort. Cepacol ends your sore throat emergency. Sore throat pain. It's hard to work, hard to think. No time for ordinary drops. End your sore throat emergency fast with the strongest Cepacol lozenges ever. Cepacol numbs sore throat pain fast with Menthocane action. Menthocane, 2 anesthetics for fast relief. So effective it's #1 in hospitals.
The pain is gone.
And try new Cepacol Dual Action Spray. Numbs pain on contact, coats your throat for comfort. Cepacol ends your sore throat emergency.
Welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live. It's episode 46 on this August 21st, 2023. Monday morning is upon us. Let's look at our first topic of today. 64th anniversary of Hawaii becoming the 50th state. More than 60 years after the overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy, Hawaii, native spelling Hawaii, officially became America's 50th state on August 21st, 1959. The cluster of islands, situated some 2,400 miles off the U.S. mainland in the South Pacific, followed Alaska, the 49th entry, by just 8 months. Hawaii's push for statehood had failed repeatedly for more than half a century, due largely, scholars say, to discrimination against the island's substantial non-white population. However, savvy political maneuvering, coupled with changing U.S. strategic interest in the Pacific during the Cold War, ultimately turned the tide. Statehood hasn't been universally embraced on the islands. For some native Hawaiians, it reflects an unwelcome legacy of American imperialism, militarism, and colonization in the Pacific region. Hawaii drew American interest for both economic and strategic reasons. After Christian missionaries visiting in the early 19th century reported favorable conditions for planting sugarcane, white business inventors arrived, buying up large tracts of land. By the 1870s, treaties tied Hawaiian trade increasingly to the U.S. economy, while the wealthy planter class worked actively to undercut the sovereignty of native rule. In 1887, in what became to be known as the Bayonet Constitution, they forced King Dave Kalakaua at gunpoint to sign a constitution that drained the monarchy of power and effectively denied suffrage to anyone who wasn't a white English-speaking property owner. Now, on January 7th, 1893, a small group of white planters and businessmen successfully overthrew the last Hawaiian monarch, Queen Lililili Ulakalani. And they had help from America's envoy to Hawaii, who, without authorization, had conspired to place a U.S. warship off the coast, threatening invasion of the Queen if she resisted. Despite President Grover Cleveland's condemnation of the coup and verbal support for the Queen, the provisional government refused to step down and established the Republic of Hawaii. The new government pushed immediately for annexation, prompting 5 years of political debate. Proponents saw Hawaii as a gateway to Asian markets and a strategic mid-Pacific stopover for military and merchant ships. Some opponents saw annexation as burdensome, immoral, and potentially unconstitutional. Others feared paving a pathway to citizenship for the island's Polynesian, Chinese, and Japanese residents at a time when racist immigration laws expressly excluded Asians. Annexation efforts stalled until 1898, when the outbreak of the Spanish-American War urgently underscored Hawaii's strategic value as a base for battles in the Philippines. On July 7th of that year, Congress passed the Newlands Resolution, annexing Hawaii as a U.S. territory, and then in 1900 it was granted self-governance. Efforts to make Hawaii a full state started early and continued for decades. Sanford B. Dole, the first governor of the territory of Hawaii and cousin to the future pineapple magnate, initially raised the possibility in his 1894 inaugural address. On February 11, 1919, the first bill for Hawaiian statehood was introduced to the U.S. House of Representatives. It died in committee. And despite investigations, reports, and recommendations regarding the issue, statehood gained little traction. Instead, Hawaii retained its tenuous territorial status with only one non-voting congressional delegate. That meant the islands received scant federal funding for crucial needs like infrastructure, transportation improvements, conservation efforts, and education. Hawaiian residents couldn't vote for their governor or president, and at any time, Congress could abolish the territorial legislature and local government and place the islands under a resident commissioner or a Navy commission. By 1940, 2 of every 3 voters in Hawaii supported statehood, and World War II initially stalled the process. But in 1947, the push renewed in earnest, and the Hawaiian Equal Rights Commission changed its name to the Hawaii Statehood Commission. Numerous Hawaii statehood bills passed either the U.S. House or Senate in 1947, 1950, 1951, and 1953, but none prevailed through both chambers. And then in 1956, after John Burns was elected as Hawaii's Democratic delegate in a Democrat-controlled Congress, he succeeded in winning the support of Southern congressmen, particularly Senate Majority Leader Lyndon Johnson and House Speaker Sam Rayburn. And that proved crucial since many so-called Dixiecrats still supported segregation and viewed Hawaii's multi-ethnic population as incompatible with their racially homogeneous vision of America. For some, though, Hawaii's large Asian population was seen not as an impediment. Instead, they were potentially critical intermediaries for America's growing trade and military interest in the Far East, particularly during the Cold War. Asserts historian Roger Bell, author of Last Among Equals, Hawaiian Statehood and American Politics. And then on January 3rd, 1959, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the bill into law, admitting Alaska as the 49th state. Later that same year, the Hawaii Bill, ultimately helped by being uncoupled from Alaska's bid, passed in the House by a 323-89 vote and in the Senate by a 76-15 margin. At last, 18 years after Pearl Harbor, Hawaii's people were officially American citizens. Hawaii voters ratified statehood by an overwhelming margin of 17-1. We'll be right back.
We will return to the CBS special movie presentation of Alice in Wonderland.
Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. Greetings from camp. Hiawatha. Swimming school here. But this place is not like home. I miss your nice fresh pillowcases.
You miss Downy. It's so pleasing. April freshness. That's one reason. Downy softness. That's another. Downy freshness makes a difference. Love your mother.
Now there's a new Downy. Best Downy yet, April fresher than ever. With a no-mess cap the others don't have. Pours easier, measures easier. And what's left goes back in. No messy bottles. New cap, more April freshness. Best Downy yet.
It's Bosley's Law. She who buys bargain trash bags can be penny wise, but trash foolish. Glad trash bags are made with 3 plies of Stress Flex that lets the bag stretch without breaking. Why take chances? Get Glad.
Is he gonna eat Jif too?
Sure. It's got to be Jif for my guys. Or girls.
The difference is just being none of your taste. But Sassy means the world to me.
I'll teach him to make the Jif all gone.
It's the nutty one for your special one with a taste for peanutty.
I remember choosing the peanut butter for his first taste. I tried all the big brands, and Jif had more fresh roasted peanut taste.
Peanutty difference in Jif.
Do I have to share if he's a girl?
In a distant land, Santa's elves are especially busy making you something special. A stuffed reindeer ornament just like the reindeer in the new motion picture Santa Claus the Movie.
Good likeness.
And it's free when you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates. So put plenty of both on your Christmas list. McDonald's gift certificates and free reindeer ornaments. Seeing is believing.
Wednesday on Charlie and Company, will Christmas Eve become a silent night if the kids leave home?
Hold on there, Junior Grinch.
Thursday, a ghost from the past.
The boy from Atlantis. The kid is real.
Unearths a murder case that might end Magnum's future. And when a $1 million deal turns deadly, Rick trades places with AJ in a scheme only a mother could love.
Did you know your eyes change color when you're about to do something stupid?
Simon and Simon. Then Gary gets closer to the truth about Empire Valley.
You've been in on this from the beginning.
And the truth is murder.
How do you want me to do it? Quietly.
Knots Landing, Thursday.
Continuing our story on the 64th anniversary of Hawaii becoming the 50th state. This, of course, is from the History.com website, History Channel, and it is written by Kelly Y. Nakamura on June 1st of this year. It was updated June 1st of this year, but was originally written on May 5th of 2022. So we're going to continue where we picked up, where we left off here. However, not all Hawaii residents celebrated statehood. Native Hawaiians have continually challenged Hawaii's incorporation into the United States, from royalists staging a counter-revolution in the immediate aftermath of the coup to contemporary calls for decolonization. The Native sovereignty movement got a significant boost in the 1970s from anti-military activism, according to Dr. Jonathan K. Kamakaua Osorio, Dean of the Hawaii Nukiai School of Hawaiian Knowledge. In particular, resentment of the U.S. military grew as activists risked their lives trying to reclaim Kahalau Island, a sacred native place that had been environmentally decimated after being used as a bombing range. In 1993, 100 years after the coup, the U.S. government formally apologized to Native Hawaiians for overthrowing their kingdom and depriving them of their rights to self-determination. But while it acknowledged that 1.8 million acres of land had been ceded without the consent of or compensation to the Native Hawaiian people or their sovereign government, the statement offered no remuneration. It ended with the disclaimer, "Nothing in this joint resolution was intended to serve as a settlement of any claims against the United States." And there you have it, folks. And Kelly Y. Nakamura is an associate professor of history at Kapi Oleani Community College in Honolulu. Thank you very much for a great story, giving us a little insight 64 years ago to Hawaii becoming a state after all this time. Coming up next, we're going to be looking at the 117th birthday of cartoonist Friz Freleng and our commentary on the art of friendship. More after this, coming up on the 9 o'clock hour, right after this.
Fire!
It's not easy getting so much rich chocolate into a Three Musketeers bar. Fortunately, it's a lot easier to get all that incredible tasting chocolate out of it.
Come on along, I'll take you to the lullaby of Broadway. The Hickory and Ballyhoo.
The lullaby of Broadway.
And in the center of it all
Is the Milford Plaza.
Stay at the Milford Plaza Hotel with cocktail dinner and breakfast for $49.50 per person. Discover why we are the lullaby of Broadway.
The Milford Plaza is the lullaby of all Broadway.
MTA interviews 30 Second Mix, take one.
Take the
train.
Why have over 1 million people taken the JFK Express?
Because it's faster than taking a taxi.
Because it's very fast, clean, and safe.
And that's the only way to fly.
It's safe.
Oh, I work for United Airlines, and it's quicker than the bus.
So we're taking the train to the plane to save money.
To spend in Paris.
Take the train to the plane.
Take the train to the plane.
The JFK Express, only $4, including shuttle bus. Call 858-7272.
Train to the plane.
I'm Murray Linder. On bagels, I'm an expert. People I'll never understand. I tell them a delicious Linder's bagel has more complex carbohydrates than a lot of cereals people call healthy. 20% more. Well, who wouldn't take a toasty, chewy Linder's bagel over what's in a cereal bowl? But some people still think bowl healthy. Look, if you still think good stuff has to come in a bowl, here you go. Linder's Bagels. Who knew they were this good?
New family members mean new responsibilities and new needs for life and health insurance protection. Why not drop in on your MetLife representative to help you figure out what's right for you and your family? Get Met. It pays.
Benny, the chicken. Throw him the chicken! The chicken, Benny! Please, Benny! The chicken! Throw him the chicken!
But it's Roy Rogers chicken.
It's chicken month at Roy's. And now get a 2-piece dinner, medium fries, a 15-ounce drink, just $2.99.
I hate machines! Sorry, Rosie.
Why don't we go to the new Sprint store at Radio Shack, George? They have Sprint's easy-to-use products.
And the know-how of Radio Shack.
They even showed Astro how to use his mobile phone.
They could even help you, Mr. J.
Astro has a mobile phone? Hello, Rhonda.
The new Sprint store at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Hello, I'm Joe DeCandia, the owner of Lenny's Columbine Restaurant. I would like to welcome you to Lenny's. We serve you the finest Italian seafood like calamari, baked clams, lobster tail served with shrimps, mussels, and linguine. Our delicious pasta dishes are a mouth-watering treat, and an Italian specialty are unforgettable. Visit one of Lenny's nearest you and enjoy a glass of wine in the house.
Happy birthday once again to Friz Freleng. He's 117 years old, but he passed away on May 26, 1995 at the age of 89. But born on this day as Isidore Friz Freleng, credited as I. Freleng early in his career, American animator, cartoonist, director, producer, and composer known for his work at Warner Brothers Cartoons on the Looney Tunes and Merry Melody series of cartoons. In total, he created more than 300 cartoons. He introduced and or developed several of the studio's biggest stars, including Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, Tweety, Sylvester, Yosemite Sam, to whom he was said to bear more than a passing resemblance, Granny, and Speedy Gonzales. The senior director at Warner's Termite Terrace studio, Freleng directed more cartoons than any other director in the studio, a total of 266, and is also the most honored of the Warner directors, having won 5 Academy Awards and 3 Emmy Awards. After Warner closed down the animation studio in 1963, Freleng and business partner David H. DePatie found DePatie Freleng Enterprises, which produced cartoons including The Pink Panther Show, feature film title sequences, and Saturday morning cartoons through the early 1980s. The nickname Friz came from his friend Hugh Harman, who initially nicknamed him Congressman Frisbee, and after a fictional senator who appeared in a satirical pieces in the Los Angeles Examiner due to the character's strong resemblance to him. Over time, this shortened to Friz. He was born to Louis Mendel Freleng, a Polish Jewish immigrant from Kutno And Elka Freeling, a Ukrainian Jewish immigrant from Odessa Oblast in Kansas City, Missouri, where he attended Westport High School from 1919 to 1923, and where he began his career in animation at the United Film and Service. There he made the acquaintance of fellow animators Hugh Harman and Ub Iwerks. In 1923, Iwerks' friend Walt Disney moved to Hollywood and put out a call for his Kansas City colleagues to join him. Freeling, however, held out until January of 1927, when he finally moved to California and joined the Walt Disney Studio. He worked alongside other former Kansas City animators, including Iwerks, Harman, Carmen Maxwell, and Rudolph Ising. And while at Disney, he worked on the Alice comedies and Oswald the Lucky Rabbit cartoons for producers Margaret Winkler and Charles Mintz. Frizz said in an interview with Michael Barrier that Walt had shown patience and remorse in letters prior to joining him, but did not show that attitude after he joined Disney, and instead Disney became abusive and harassed him. Then in 1928, Freeling left the studio due to Disney saying he forfeited his bonus, along with comments on his animation mistakes. Freeling moved back to Kansas to work at his old job at the United Film and Service. He soon teamed up with Harman and Ising to create their own studio. The trio produced a pilot starring a new Mickey Mouse-like character named Bosco. Looking at unemployment, if the cartoon failed to generate interest, Freeling moved to New York City to work on Mintz's Crazy Cat cartoons, all the while still trying to sell the Harman Ising Bosco picture. Freeling was very unhappy living in New York and made the best of it until another opportunity opened for him. Bosco was finally sold to Leon Schlesinger, who would produce the series for Warner Brothers. At first, Freeling was reluctant to return to California when Harman Ising asked him to work on the series. At the insistence of his sister Jean, Freeling soon moved back to California to work on Looney Tunes. Harman and Ising left Schlesinger's studio over disputes about budgets in 1933. Schlesinger was left with no experienced directors and therefore lured Freeling away from Harman Ising to successfully fix cartoons directed by Tom Palmer, which Warner rejected. The young animator became Schlesinger's top director, and he introduced the studio's first true post-Bosco star, Porky Pig, in the film I Haven't Got a Hat in 1935. Porky was a distinctive character, unlike Bosco or his replacement Buddy. As a director, Freeling gained the reputation of a tough taskmaster. His unit, however, consistently produced high-quality animated shorts under his direction. Fritz Freeling directed the largest number of cartoons on the Censored 11, a group of Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons originally produced and released by Warner Brothers that were withheld from syndication in the United States by United Artists in 1968 because the use of ethnic stereotypes in the cartoons, specifically African stereotypes, was deemed too offensive for contemporary audiences. David DePatie, when asked about the Japanese beetle in Blue Racer in 1996, said this about Frizz's view on race. It seems like poking fun at certain ethnic groups had always spelled success. Frizz had always felt that way in his cartoons, especially with Speedy. In September of 1937, Freeling left Schlesinger after accepting an increase in salary to direct for the new Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer cartoon studio headed by Fred Quimby. Freeling served as a director on The Captain and the Kids, an animated series adapted for the comic strip The Katzenjammer Kids. In November of 1938, Freeling became a junior director under Hugh Harman, but quit after 6 months in April of 1939. Freeling happily returned to Warner Brothers in mid-April 1939 when his MGM contract ended, and one of the first Looney Tunes cartoon shorts directed by Freeling during his second tenure at the studio was You Ought to Be in Pictures, a cartoon short which blended animation with live-action footage of the Warner Brothers studio and included staff such as storyman Michael Maltese and Schlesinger himself. The plot, which centers around Porky Pig being tricked by Daffy Duck into terminating his contract with Schlesinger to attempt a career in features, echoes Freeling's experience in moving to MGM. Schlesinger's hands-off attitude toward his animators allowed Freeling and his fellow directors almost complete creative control and room to experiment with cartoon comedy styles, which allowed the studio to keep pace with the Disney Studios' technical superiority. Freeling's style quickly matured, and he became a master of comic timing. Often working alongside layout artist Hawley Pratt, he also introduced or redesigned a number of Warner characters, including Yosemite Sam in 1945, the cat and bird duo of Sylvester and Tweety in 1947, and Speedy Gonzales in 1955. Freeling and Chuck Jones would dominate the Warner Brothers studio in the years after World War II, with Freeling largely concentrating on the above-mentioned characters as well as Bugs Bunny. Freeling continued to produce modernized versions of the musical comedies he animated in his early career, such as Three Little Bops in 1957 and Pizzicato Pussycat in 1955. He won 4 Oscars during his time at Warner Brothers for the films Tweety Pie in 1947, Speedy Gonzales in 1955, Birds Anonymous in 1957, and Nighty Night Bugs in 1958. Other Freeling cartoons such as Sandy Claus, 1955, Mexicali Schmoes in 1959, Mouse and Garden in 1960, and The Pied Piper of Guadalupe in 1961 were Oscar nominees. Freeling's cartoon Showbiz Bugs, with Daffy Duck vying with Bugs for theater audience appreciation, was arguably a template for the successful format of the Bugs Bunny show that premiered on television in the autumn of 1960. Further, Freeling directed the cartoons with the erudite and ever so polite Goofy Gophers encountering the relentless wheels of human industry, them being I Gopher for You in 1954 and Lumberjerks in 1955. And he also directed 3 cartoons sponsored by the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, extolling the virtues of free market capitalism. By Word of Mouse in 1954, Hair Conditioned in 1955, and Yankee Doodle It in 1956, all 3 of which involved Sylvester. Freeling directed all 3 of the vintage Warner Brothers cartoons, in which a drinking of Dr. Jekyll's potion of The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde introduced a series of monstrous transformation. Dr. Jekyll's Hyde in 1954, Hyde and Hair in 1955, and Hide and Go Tweet in 1960. Other Freeling fancies were Man at War with the Insect World, as in Of Thee I Sting in 1946, and Ant Pasted in 1953. An Inebriated Stork delivering the wrong baby in A Mouse Divided in 1952, Stork Naked in 1959, and Apes of Wrath in 1959. And characters marrying for money and finding themselves with a shrewish wife and a troublesome stepson, His Bitter Half in 1949, and Honey's Money in 1962. Freeling was occasionally the subject of in-jokes and water cartoons. In Canary Row, 1950, there were billboards in the background of scenes advertising various products called Frizz. The Hotel Frizz was featured in Racketeer Rabbit in 1946, and Frisbee the Magician was one of the acts Bugs Bunny pitched in High Diving Hair. We'll be back with more of the look at Friz Freleng on his 117th birthday right after this.
We will return to the CBS special movie presentation of Alice in Wonderland.
Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. Greetings from camp. Hiawatha. Swimming school here. But this place is not like home. I miss your nice fresh pillowcases.
You miss Downy, it's so pleasing. April freshness, that's one reason. Downy softness, that's another. Downy freshness makes a difference, love your mother.
Now there's a new Downy. Best Downy yet, April fresher than ever. With a no-mess cap the others don't have. Pours easier, measures easier. And what's left goes back in. No messy bottles. New cap, more April freshness. Best Downy yet.
It's Bosley's Law. She who buys bargain trash bags can be penny wise, but trash foolish. Glad trash bags are made with 3 plies of Stress Flex that lets the bag stretch without breaking. Why take chances? Get Glad.
Is he gonna eat Jif too?
Sure. It's got to be Jif for my guys. Or girls.
The difference is just being none of your taste. A sassy means the world to me.
I'll teach him to make the Jif all gone.
It's the nutty one for your special one with a taste for peanutty.
I remember choosing the peanut butter for his first taste. I tried all the big brands, and Jif had more fresh roasted peanut taste.
Peanutty difference in Jif.
Do I have to share if he's a girl?
In a distant land, Santa's elves are especially busy making you something special. A stuffed reindeer ornament just like the reindeer in the new motion picture Santa Claus the Movie.
Good likeness.
And it's free when you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates. So put plenty of both on your Christmas list. McDonald's gift certificates and free reindeer ornaments. Seeing is believing.
Silent. Wednesday on Charlie and Company, will Christmas Eve become a silent night if the kids leave home?
Hold on there, Junior Grinch.
Thursday, a ghost from the past.
The boy from Atlantis. The kid is real.
Unearths a murder case that might end Magnum's future. And when $1 million deal turns deadly, Rick trades places with AJ in a scheme only a mother could love.
Did you know your eyes change color when you're about to do something stupid?
Simon and Simon. Then Gary gets closer to the truth about Empire Valley.
You've been in on this from the beginning.
And the truth is murder.
How do you want me to do it? Quietly.
Knots Landing, Thursday.
Okay, we still got Brandon Bogards up there. I don't know what happened. Did they actually take it off of it? I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to pose another one here. Here we There you have it, friends. I finally show up on DMS 3000 News Live, episode 46 on this August 21st, 2023. We finally got it right, but I'm glad I did show you our other hosts who do this program to wrap up the week and everything. We have Brandon Martin usually on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and when he's not available, Brandon Bogard comes in and does once a week, and even all our wonderful CEO David St. Dennis will fill in from time to time to wrap out the week. So you'll see a lot of different people, hosting this program in their own fashionable ways, and we thank them for their great help and wonderful support of DMS 3000 News Live. Well, we continue with episode 46, a little bit more on the 117th birthday of cartoonist Friz Freleng. Let's look at a little bit more about his later career and his passing. Freleng later served as an executive producer on 3 1980s Looney Tunes compilation features: the Looney Bugs movie in 81, Bugs Bunny's third movie, 1001 Rabbit Tales in 82, and Daffy Duck's Fantastic Island in 83, which linked classic shorts with new animated sequences. In 1986, Freeling stepped down and gave his position at Warner Brothers to his secretary at the time, Kathleen Helpy Shipley, who ended up being the second longest producer of the Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies franchise, behind only Leon Schlesinger. In 1994, the International Family Film Festival presented its first Lifetime Achievement of Excellence in Animation Award to Freeling, and the award has since been referred to as the Frizz Award in his honor. He died of natural causes on May 26, 1995, in Los Angeles at age 89. The Warner Brothers animated TV series, The Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, and the Looney Tunes cartoon From Hair to Eternity, which was the last one directed by Chuck Jones, were both dedicated to his memory. After his death, Cartoon Network aired a variation of one of their station idents with the words Frizz Freeling, 1906 to 1995. The birth year is disputed, appearing and an announcer paying tribute to Freeling and his works. He's interred in Hillside Memorial Park Cemetery and portrayed by Taylor Gray in the film Walt Before Mickey back in 2015. Happy birthday, Frizz Freeling. Thank you for your wonderful contributions to the cartoon world. The commentary of The Art of Friendship is our next subject, and we'll be looking at an interesting commentary that takes us all the way to an interesting look at friendship. It's something that we all need to look at just in our daily lives here. And the Daily Press has this fantastic article which shows us what has happened. For today, August 21st, the commentary of The Art of Friendship from the Virginia Gazette. This is by Nicole Eichhoff back in July 23rd of this year at 11:34. Two York County artists, Diane Abbott Monach and Jean Wyman Eichhoff, create a beautiful tapestry of collaboration spanning across multiple artistic mediums, especially in the art of friendship. Both artists are well known in their respective fields, and Diane, an accomplished costume designer, playwright, and director, and Jean, known for her realistic depictions of Yorktown and landscapes extracted from sketches and photos she takes around the world. Their paths first crossed in York County, where as mothers, they supported high school art programs. But when a local ladies group brought them together at a county favorite, Pop's Diner, they truly gravitated to each other as artists, former Wolverines and writers. Diane earned her MFA at the University of Michigan, specializing in costume design for famous musicals such as My Fair Lady and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. She also wrote Lady Lambert, a play that won the prestigious University of Michigan Hopwood Award. Diane is the mother of Bruce, Keith, and Grace, and lived in Naples and Oahu before settling in York County. Jean, another Michigan alumna, known for her paintings of historic Yorktown, is also an expert in graphic design. Her work has been compared to Van Gogh and Hopper, but she's also designed graphics for military aircraft training software for Boeing Aerospace, more recently for York Country's Art on the River Show, which this year celebrated its 10th anniversary. She contributes more than just the logo. She judged the show and served 14 years as the county's arts commissioner. Jean is the mother of Nicole and Aaron and lived in 9 states before settling in York County. Despite different backgrounds and areas of expertise, Diane and Jean shared a connection in their passion for writing and publishing. While in Italy, Diane wrote a book called The Substitute Bridegroom, penned under her middle name Jean. At the same time, Jean Eichhoff was in the midst of research and creating characters for a historical novel and found inspiration in Diane's writing. Friendship blossomed as they found time, sometimes 3 times a week, to write, talk, and edit each other's work at a local restaurant with Wi-Fi and privacy booths. When the restaurant closed, they struggled to find another collaboration space. With no luck, they each found themselves pulled back to their major art fields, sewing and painting, logo design for Gene, and costume design for Diane at the Williamsburg Players. They remained fierce friends, and Diane proved their mutual inspiration was not limited to writing. Despite a busy life and travel, she found time to create exquisite personalized quilts for Gene's first two grandchildren, to the delight of the entire family. Then, in a truly magnificent act of friendship, Diane made a very special quilt for Gene on her 60th birthday. The 9-part series of her intricate paintings, known as The Houses of Historic Yorktown. The series depicts landmarks of Yorktown, including the Nelson House and Grace Church, among others. And Diane painstakingly replicated the entire series with stunning likeness to Gene's original set that is sold in postcard versions. Sharon Owen, the long-standing manager of York Hall Gallery, has long represented Gene's art in her gallery that also features extraordinary quilting. This summer, Sharon graciously brings the unique set together for public viewing on the main floor, originals together side by side in a display of history, art, and love. Their lives have since guided them on more paths, yet Diane and Gene remain close friends and continue to pursue their passions in art, writing, and publishing. Their story is a testament to the power of collaboration and enduring bond of friendship. Diane has collaborated before on another one of Gene's paintings, the popular Yorktown Onion. Now through August, purchase a raffle ticket for a framed and signed print and or one-of-a-kind quilted tote bag made by talented Diane. This beautiful handcrafted bag is sturdy to hold books and will last for years to come. All the proceeds of this raffle will benefit the gallery and are available at York Hall. And Nicole Marie Ann Eichhoff is the daughter of Gene Eichhoff, and she lives in Spain. Great commentary. But what does it have to do with the art of friendship? Well, if you just realized what I just had read, they shared their arts, their jobs together, and they did it through a great way of communication and other things. And when things got in their way, such as restaurants closing down and other interesting things of happening, they've made commitments to each other to stay together and draw their ideas and make things together. That's friendship, folks, in its own right. Friendship itself is an art. And if you are lucky enough to make friendships, then you have really mastered the art of friendship. If you have lost friendships over the years, which we all do, it's something that we have to retrain our brains with. Friendship itself is something based on trust, respect, mutual love, and everything in the books. And we as people, the history of friendship goes back, way back. And we have to look at those situations and say to ourselves, friendship, no matter how much romance we have in our lives, will always come before romance. Something that friendship has that romance doesn't have. Friendship has lifelong things going for it, where romance comes and goes. Friendship is long-term. Romance is short-term. But friendship can also be a romantic thing, because in that time frame, couples can be best friends, because it's not just based on love, it's based on trust and mutual respect. Something that if we all have all three, then our friendship then becomes romantically inclined to become true friendship forever. It's 9:24 right now here at the WJDC studios in beautiful Oviedo, Florida. And you are listening today to DMS 3000 News Live, episode 46 on this August 21st, 2023. All right, let's look at what day is today. We have a few things going up here before we get to the final half hour of our program with the final 15 minutes as well, too. So let's look at what holiday is today and see what's going on, if there's anything good brewing. Let's see. Aha! Here we go. It's National Spumoni Day. Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and look at National Spumoni Day. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. My computer decided to crash, but we will continue on where we left off with National Spumoni Day. And here we go. Celebrated every August 21st to honor the Italian ice cream treat that incorporates cream, fruit, and nuts. On this day, and in general, scooping spumoni is considered bad taste, and it's vital to slice it. Its origins in Naples have taken it on a lengthy and cultural journey and is today more commonly consumed and enjoyed in the United States and Argentina than in Naples. Flavored gelato used to be layered into 3 layers and then molded into a dessert. The confection is frequently coated with a chocolate coating in addition to candied fruits and nuts. There isn't much information about what started National Spumoni Day or when it was created. As a result, we decided to concentrate our efforts in figuring out who invented Spumoni ice cream and when they did it. That sent us out on a fantastic ice cream adventure that we would never forget. Spumoni is thought to have originated in Naples, Italy, sometime in the 19th century, according to most food historians. And according to a 1979 Chicago Tribune article, an authentic spumoni recipe was transported to the United States from Nola, Italy in 1905 and became known as Neapolitan ice cream. In Chicago, Salvatore Lezza and his wife Lucia founded a bakery. 3 layers of semi-freddo were asked for in the original recipe: almond, semi-sweet chocolate, and stracciatella. Stracciatella is a sort of gelato that contains irregular chunks of chocolate. The three most well-known flavors of this ice cream are primarily chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. This is the type of spumoni that has become increasingly popular in the United States. And throughout Europe, Italian spumoni remained popular, and a variety of flavor combinations grew popular. The pistachio, chocolate, and cherry ice cream is known as spumoni in the United States, whereas the vanilla, chocolate, and berry ice cream is known as Italian ice cream. In the United States, however, most spumoni contained a cherry layer with cherry bits, a pistachio ice cream layer, and a chocolate layer. Hazelnut, vanilla, strawberry, and pineapple are just a handful of the other flavors available. The best spumoni may be found in Italian neighborhoods like Brooklyn's Bensonhurst. The most popular spumoni in Brooklyn is served at L&B Spumoni Gardens, one of the stops on our pizza tour. And before opening the storefront in 1939, Ludovico Barbati, the L&B in the name, began selling spumoni door-to-door in Brooklyn in the 30s from a horse-drawn wagon. Unlike the Italian version, L&B's is served in Italian ice cups, making it easier to transport. It's a mix of ice cream and Italian ice. Serve the spumoni cut to highlight its exquisite layers. It is also regarded as the traditional method of serving the ice cream dish. The ice cream, on the other hand, lends itself to being scooped. When initially encountering spumoni, it appears to be Neapolitan. The two ice creams are nearly identical except for the addition of fruits and nuts. Spumoni had an influence on the Neapolitan in reality. Cakes, biscuits, and other foods were impacted by it as well. Now, the timeline starts in 1905. It arrives in the United States. Salvatore Lezza and his wife, Lucia, bring the first original spumoni recipe from Nola, Italy. 1924, the first known use of the word spumoni. The term is first used to describe an ice cream with layers of diverse colors, flavors, and textures, frequently topped with candied fruits and nuts. It was sold door to door starting in 1930. Ludovico Barbati, the L&B in the name, begins selling spumoni door to door around Brooklyn on a horse-drawn wagon. So, what are we going to do today? We're going to join in the festivities online, following the hashtag National Spumoni Day to discover a plethora of recipes, histories, and discussions about this wonderful treat. You can even host a Zoom dessert party with each guest munching on camera and chewing around a delighted smile. You can also include the hashtag in your post if it contains the spumoni you made or the spumoni you bought from the store. And go to an ice cream parlor. Going to an ice cream parlor and eating a scrumptious spumoni may be one of the nicest things you can do on this day. You should go to the place that serves the best spumoni in town. Of course, you should bring your friends and family so that you may make your celebration truly memorable. And you can make your own spumoni if you don't have time to go outside and buy them from an ice cream shop, or if you want to be more creative in celebrating this holiday. It's not difficult to do so. 3 kinds of ice cream, candied fruits, almonds, and cherries, and whipped cream are all you need. To produce 3 layers, sandwich, whipped cream, and other additions between 2 layers of ice cream. That's how easy they are to make. After that, you can impress your relatives and friends with your magnificent spumoni. Here's 5 amazing facts about spumoni that will blow your mind. Spumoni is the plural of spumone, which means foam. It was invented in Naples. Spumoni is a traditional Christmas dessert in many parts of the United States, and it's frequently served with cookies of some sort. It's never scooped. Spumoni, unlike ice cream, is always sliced rather than scooped. And the most popular spumoni flavor is one that depicts the Italian flag, red, white, and green. And it's popular among Italian immigrants. Spumoni is popular in countries with sizable Italian immigrant communities, such as the United States and Argentina. And why we love this day? Well, it's loaded with vitamins and minerals. Spumoni compromises milk, eggs, fruits, and other ingredients. So when you eat ice cream, your body gets the benefits of vitamin D, vitamin A, calcium, phosphorus, and riboflavin. Aside from that, the various flavors up the nutrient quotient. and it helps boost immunity. No, it's not weird because spumoni can be harmful to your health. Spumoni is a fermented food, and it is believed that fermented foods are good for our respiratory and gastrointestinal health. Immunity will gradually improve if you have a better respiratory system and intestinal health. And it makes you happier. Do you feel depressed or in a poor mood? Grab a spoon and dig into your favorite spumoni flavor. Since eating spumoni can make you feel a whole lot better, there's also a psychological or a physiological explanation. When you eat spumoni, your body produces serotonin, a hormone. Serotonin, also known as the feel-good hormone, is responsible for your happiness. And there you have it, friends. National Spumoni Day in all of its glory. Pretty interesting. Well, with about 15 minutes left, we are going to wrap up this day in huge fashion. I want to also let you know that it was a little late getting here, but we managed to sacrifice and we managed to salvage a great show, and we hope that you will enjoy it today as much as I enjoyed giving it to you. Tomorrow on the program, more great events and headlines and other great stuff as well. Now, for the editorial. Well, since this is Monday, August 21st, and we're 2 weeks away from Labor Day weekend, I figured it would be interesting to note that we're getting down to the end of summer and going into fall. Most of the school kids here in Florida have already started school, with the exception of Volusia County. They don't start school to at least either today or next week. Starting school for kids is a very nerve-wracking and emotional kind of first thing in a kid's life, especially if they're starting kindergarten. I remember the days when my grandmother used to walk me to school all the time, and I held her hand, and on those cold days, we would go and walk to the elementary school, which was only about 10 minutes from our house. We were lucky and truly blessed to live very close to the schools that I attended, except for high school, where I had to take a city bus to go into Middle Village. But that was 8 or 9 years later. I'm talking about an editorial about kindergarten. Starting school for a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old is a very overwhelming experience, one in which the whole world will now shape that child's future. It's up to parents to be responsible for their child's education, whether they attend public school or private school. No matter what, always be a part of your child's education, because if you are a part and responsible and have an in-depth say, then you control what the schools are trying to control over your children. Parents, it's up to you to make sure your child gets well informed, and also, if you don't like to take them to a private or a public school, homeschooling has become the big thing now up to the 12th grade. It gives the child a chance to focus on the important things that will make him a better citizen, or her, for that matter, as the years go by. The only thing that homeschooling lacks is the social interaction amongst their classmates. But we've seen over the years that homeschooling has become the way of the future, and most parents nowadays play an active role in their child's homeschooling education. Unfortunately, once they get to college, they're on their own and have to go outside, because homeschooling only goes up to 12th grade. Wouldn't it be interesting if the child could do online classes, which are already available to the child once he gets to college? Online and group sessions make for a very interesting situation. However, once again, the social interaction between and among students, faculty, and staff is not there. But we've also seen over the course of many years and decades how school violence has become a big thing, and bullying and shootings of all sizes and shapes and forms have amassed since not just during the pandemic years, but even before that. School can be exciting, it can be memorable, it can have very positive and negative influences. And what your child experiences over the course of 12 years is going to dictate how your child behaves and grows in the society that is presented to him. Focus on historical events. Focus on the things that the child is interested in, but make sure that you incorporate all the things that the child will have to learn that are necessary for today's survival at any level. Some schools say that the child is not getting enough education. Others say that the parents lack any kind of support to their children. One thing a child must realize is that if they are not getting support for the hard work and for the tiring times that they've had to sit in those classrooms, it's important that the child and the student themselves go to those people for the help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for teamwork. In the end, the child will benefit from these factors because then he realizes or she realizes that these things will be a part of their life in the future, and that working together to become smarter and more acceptable may not always happen, but will always have the truth and will have honesty and the lifelong friendships that we aim to have in our grown-up years. No one wants to be alone in this country, surviving. That's why friendship and interactions and social times with recess and lunch breaks, and even with physical education, may not be there as part of the homeschooling projects. But if you're fortunate enough to be in a school where it's accepted and you're able to make good friendships amongst your peers and realize that this whole world is not against you, but working to try to be with you, realize that you play a vital role in not only your education and your growth, but in the lives of everyone you interact over the course of your time on this planet. Education is very important, but social interactions combined with good education and good quality responsibility with good parents and good supporters makes for a well-rounded educational thing that no student should ever be denied or disrespected of when growing up in the tough society that we live in today. Thank you for joining me here today. This has been Jason DeCanio saying, remember, be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. We'll see you tomorrow for episode 47 with more great topics, the headlines, and of course, what day is today. From all of us here at the DMS 3000 News Live and the David 3000 Network, we'll see you again and hope that you have a fantastic week ahead. Bye for now, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to subscribe to the David Dyson Network for great more content like this one.